Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Naturia deck profile for November 2018. It actually feels like it's been quite a while since my last Naturia deck profile, and last when I looked, it's actually been over a year since my last update on this deck, and it's one of my favorites, so I was kind of disappointed that it feels like I've neglected it all this time just with deck profiles. And the one thing I've been wanting the most is just Naturia support in general, like either a Link monster or a new type of Synchro or even a new main deck monster. And if we can get one of those later down the road with all these different decks receiving support, I think that'd be really cool. I've changed the deck around, I think best suited to what can go up against with lockdown capabilities and just shutting down your opponent in general with a lot of the main monsters in the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off for the monsters, one of your main ones is Naturia Bamboo Shoot. I only run 2 of this just because we have options in the deck to search out this card, and you have to tribute summon it to get full potential of its effect. If this card is tribute summoned by tributing a Naturia monster, while this card is face up on the field, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards. So shutting out your opponent completely from spell and traps is a really big part of Naturia Bamboo Shoot's play, and why it's one of my favorites to go for. It's got pretty good attack, so as long as you can protect it from your opponent's bigger monsters, or if your opponent just can get out special summon monsters to attack over it without having to use spell and trap cards, you're pretty much set in the water with this card. But like I said, just 2. If I was running 3, I found testing just to be a little difficult for the fact that I would open up multiples of these and just not have fast enough plays to get it out, since you do have to tribute summon for this card. Some of the backups for the deck include Naturia Cliff. I run 3 of this one. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Naturia monster from your deck in face-up attack position. So you can even go for Naturia Cliff with this effect, and then Cliff into another Cliff, and then the last one can either be one of your other Naturia monsters. Just has to be level 4 or lower, so great stall with this card, so you can at least keep a monster on the field. So a definite 3 of in the deck. All the Naturias play off of the insect and the plant monsters. Cliff is the only rock that I run in the deck, so he's an exception just because of the fact that he has a really, really good effect for sure. And another special summon one is Naturia Cherries. I run 3 of this one as well. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard by your opponent's card, including battle or card effect, or by being destroyed, you can special summon up to 2 Naturia Cherries from your deck in face down defense. So you basically have your monster set up. If you open up a cherry and then it's destroyed, and then your opponent isn't able to get rid of the last 2, that's your tribute right there for Bamboo Shoot. Or even better, if you have other Naturias for a Link summon or a Synchro summon, you name it, Cherry sets up your field for those monsters, so very, very helpful there. Plus, I also run 2 Naturia Cosmo Beat, just an easy special summon card when your opponent normal summons or sets a monster. So depending on how they set it up, if they want to take care of the Cosmo Beat problem that you special summoned out by either maybe getting out a Nightmare monster and destroying it, or some other tactic to get it off the field, then it just means, they have more plays they have to put into on their first turn, or they could just leave it there and have a resource that you got on the field very easily by taking advantage of their normal summon or set. Plus, another one of my favorites I run the deck is Naturia Yugioh. I didn't always run Yugioh, but in the last couple deck profiles, I've decided to keep it in the deck. When your opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon 1 level 3 or lower Naturia monster from your deck. So basically relying on this card for Field Swarm. If this card is on the field, your opponent will either want to attack over Yugioh going into their battle phase and then rely on their special summons, or do their entire play and then hope they can get over whatever you have set up on the field already, whether it be face downs or just the cards you can special summon out with this card as well. Because if you can get out Butterfly can negate attacks, and then you can just have other protection options available to you as well, or just have too many monsters out on the field for them to get over. I also run 2 Naturia Marin. This is the one that when it's normal summon, you can send 1 Naturia monster from your deck to the graveyard, and once per turn you can target 2 Naturia monsters in your graveyard, shuffle both targets into the deck, then draw 1 card. So it's recycle power. You can even reuse your Bamboo Shoots if you want, after you've gone through both of them by chance, or just sent 1 with Marin's effect to reshuffle back. The draw power definitely does come in handy, though. Being able to even recycle your cherries is one thing I like for sure with this card, because the biggest weakness with Cherry is just the fact that if you open up 2 of them, then you kind of take away from the special summon. But if you can get through those resources and then just shuffle them back with Marin to reuse, it definitely does come in handy. And we were speaking of Butterfly earlier. I run 2 Naturia Butterfly. This one is just one of your tuners along with cherries. Excuse me. But once per turn, when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard and negate that attack. So you have stall options with this card. Like I said, with Antjaw's Special Summon, it definitely does come in handy. But also just with synchro options available to you in the deck, and just being able to stall out with Butterfly alone against your opponent can really help for your plays come next turn as well. And then for the one-ofs for the Naturias, I'm running 1 Naturia Mantis. This one is basically one that can stop your opponent's destruction of normal summon. When your opponent normal summons a monster, you can send 1 Naturia monster from your hand to the graveyard to destroy that monster. It doesn't negate the effect, but it can take care of potential plays your opponent may have wanted to go for, whether it be with link summoning or any other type of special summoning, or if they just need that normal summon for some of your big plays that could either get over your Bamboo Shoot or any of the other cards you set up on the field. So Mantis helps with that as long as you have the Naturia resources in your hand to take care of. This is where some of those extra cherries definitely do come in handy if you have them in your hand, unable to use them. And then the last for the one-ofs is the Naturia Pumpkin. This one, when this card is normal summon, if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon 1 Naturia monster from your hand. So easy link summon or synchro summon, depending on what you go for. You can get out Beast if you have the cherries, Black Rose Dragon from your hand if you need to nuke the field with a Butterfly in your hand, or even just any of your link summons, Mrs. Radiant, since you run all Earth monsters, you name it. Very easy plays to go into with the Pumpkin. Now, I debated between the numbers between Mantis and Pumpkin if I wanted to run Fruit Fly and Dragonfly. I don't run Fruit Fly anymore just because of the fact that Link monsters don't have defense, so you can't take their monsters since they won't have 0 defense. And Dragonfly is good for stall options, so if you maybe wanted to take out the Pumpkin and try out a Dragonfly. Just the one-ofs, though, because they are searchable in the deck, so you don't really need too many of them to rely on those one specific plays. And then the only non-Naturia monster I run is Cactus Bouncer. For the lockdown, I really do like this card in the deck. It cannot be special summoned, and while another plant type is on the field, neither player can special summon monsters. So being able to shut down a special summon, if you have Bamboo Shoot in this card on the field, you really lock down your opponent. Being able to special summon or activate spell or traps, just relying on that is a key way to victory in this deck. Just making sure your opponent can't do anything. You don't have to be worried about spell or traps when you attack. All you have to do is make sure your opponent, doesn't have any potential or capabilities to do anything else. So if you can get this lock open and ready to go, you've basically secured yourself with the deck. If you don't want to run Cactus Bouncer and you want to go pure Naturia, you can bring in the Fruit Flies and the Dragonflies in place of the Cactus Bouncers instead of taking out the Mantis or the Pumpkin. But like I said, that's a player option there, but I definitely do like Cactus Bouncer in the deck. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run a very light spell lineup just because I prefer heavy trap count in the deck to protect your Naturia monsters and all your invested plays. So I run 2 Foolish Burial. Now I run this so you can send your one important trap, which we'll get to in a bit, which is Naturia Sacred Tree, to the graveyard, just so you can get the search for Naturia monster. Being able to get that search is very important because if you can grab the one you need for your specific play, then it definitely does come in handy. So just the 2 Foolish Burial goods definitely do help with those search options. I also run 1 for 1. Now, if I can search out the cherry and special summon it and have Bamboo Shoot in my hand and then distribute the cherry off the special summon since I didn't take up the normal summon, it helps for a lot of decks. So I like that option available to me with the 1 for 1 in the deck. And I also run 1 Soul Charge and 1 Monster Reborn. Just being able to reuse resources are very key and important in this deck for sure. So if you mill through your monsters and then just can reuse them, these cards definitely do come in handy. And moving on to the traps, like I said, I run a big trap lineup. I run 3 Naturia Sacred Tree. This trap is good because if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Naturia card from your deck to your hand. Except Naturia Sacred Tree, you can only use one of the following effects of Sacred Tree once per turn, and only once that turn. You can tribute 1 Earth Insect type monster to special summon 1 level 4 or lower Earth Plant type monster from your deck, or you can tribute 1 Earth Plant type monster to special summon 1 level 4 or lower Earth Insect type monster from the deck. So being able to go back and forth between the two type of monsters is very important, but the search effect with the Foolish Burial goods also does come in handy for sure, which is why I like to keep 3 of it in the deck, either for the send or actually using it on the field to go back and forth between the cards you want. Being able to swap out cherries for a bigger type of insect monster is definitely helpful for sure with this card. And for those of you that don't know, I run 2 Safe Zone. I've run Safe Zone in my Naturia deck as long as I can remember. This is one key card that can definitely protect your Bamboo Shoot. I've only run 2 of it now, though, because like the option 4/3 Bamboo Shoot, running 3 Safe Zone kind of falls short. I only really want to ever use the Safe Zone for protection if I have Bamboo Shoot on the field. It can be a double-edged sword at times, but worth the investment depending on the type of deck you're going up against for sure. And I also run 2 Gozen Match. Now this one, if you stay true to your Earth plays, can really shut down opponents' decks, along with them not being able to activate spell or traps or special summon. Each player can only control 1 attribute of a monster and send all the face of ones they control to the graveyard. We only run Earth monsters in the deck, so you're pretty safe with that. The only thing that you might be locked down with is some of your extra deck plays, but we run plenty of Earth monsters in the extra deck to not really worry about that problem either. Plus, I also run 2 Lost Wind. I run this in the deck. I used to run Fiendish Chain for the longest time, but decided to change it up just for the fact that it negates the special summon monster effect, and its original attack is half. So if you can half monster, depending on what it is, usually with Bamboo Shoot's 2000 attack, if you can half it, it won't be able to get over it. And having its effect negated will also definitely shut it down for sure. So Lost Wind definitely does come in handy. Plus, I also run 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Solemn Judgment, and the 2 Solemn Strikes. The trap lineup just definitely does come in handy for the fact that you have plenty of options to stop your opponent's monsters, once again with the Lost Winds, with your lockdown, and then just being able to stop any extra summon that may come up, which is why I like to run this card in the deck. And lastly, I run 1 Storming Mirror Force. There's just one small more, back row tech to run with the trap lineup we have. If you wanted to run a second of this one, you can maybe take out one of the Sacred Trees, see how the 2-2 combo with the Foolish Burial Goods works for you, but that's up to you as a player as well, depending on how many you wanted in the deck. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra. I run 1 Naturia Beast, your spell lock for your synchro plays, Earth Tuner, and 1 or more non-tuner Earth monsters. So very easy to make this card. You can go for it when you want to stop spell plays. If you don't go into the Bamboo Shoot, you have this awesome lockdown option. Same goes for Naturia Barkion for traps. If you have a level 4 and 2 cherries on the field, and you can make Naturia Beast, but if the Beast isn't working out, you can then go straight into Barkion and take care of your opponent's trap cards, which is definitely helpful for sure, as long as you have the graveyard set up. Plus, 1 Black Rose Dragon. I really like this in the deck, even just for the fact that with the, not maybe the blow up, the field technique, but also the banish a plant from the graveyard to have the monster on your opponent's control to face up attack position, and you reduce its attack, being able to take care of some pesky monsters for sure. Plus, 1 Goyo Guardian. The Earth Tuner thing doesn't really limit this card too much. Queen of Thorns. Each player must pay 1,000 life points to normal or special summon a non-plant type monster. So making this can really hurt your opponent for sure. And also, I run 1 Crystal Wing. You have plenty of options with all your different synchros for the additional tuners to make this card also. And 1 Balmung, the special summon, and just the option for a level 4 synchro is the main reason I decided to run this in the deck. For the Exceed monsters, I run 1 Melee of the Trees and 1 Soul of the Silver Mountain. If you want to put in a rank 4, taking one of these out, it's honestly up to you which one you prefer to take out for the option. Most of the time, I would like to keep in Soul of the Silver Mountain. You just need 2 level 3 Earth monsters with Marin and Butterfly. Very easy to make this, so most likely Malea would come out, or Melia, sorry if I mispronounced that, for a rank 4 option. But some of my big plays after the synchros are definitely the Link monsters in the deck. I run 2 Mrs. Radiant. They're all Earth monsters. Being able to bump up your Bamboo Shoot with this card on the field, and potentially a second one as well, definitely helps against a lot of decks, making sure your opponent can't hit over it. And then just being able to research Earth monsters as well. 1 Link Karibo. This is for if I'm ever stuck with the cherries. I'd much rather, have, a Link Karibo on the field than a dead cherries that I can't use anymore. Plus, also 1 Underclock Taker for lowering down attack if I have to attack over an opponent's monster. 1 Akashic Magician for the monsters with the same type. It definitely does come in handy. And 1 Topologic Trisbana. I didn't run any Link 4s in the deck just because the Monster Swarm with Antjaw comes up sometimes, but most of the time, other than that, I don't really have too many monsters on the field for Link 4 options. But if I were to have a Link 3 option with how the deck works, I definitely do like Trisbana in it. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, I was definitely happy to finally give an update to the Naturia deck, so glad you all enjoyed it. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.